Hello and welcome to Afterglow Poetics. I'm your host, Sarah. This is the second episode of Poets That Inspired Me this week. I'm back in the darkness here. I was in the sunshine the last few episodes, but we're back in the darkness, back to the original brand of late night poetry. And so I was reading this book and I was like, loved the first poem. It's called The Seven Ages by Louise Gluck. And if you've taken a poetry class, you've probably read some of this, unless it was like, if you've taken a contemporary poetry class, you've probably read Louise's work. And so this titular poem, The Seven Ages, I'm going to read to you. I'm going to read two poems, and then one of my own. In my first dream, the world appeared, the salt, the bitter, the forbidden, the sweet. In my second, I descended. I was human. I couldn't just see a thing, beast that I am. I had to touch it, to contain it. I hid in the groves. I worked in the fields until the fields were bare. Time that will never come again. The dry wheat bound, caskets of figs and olives. I even loved a few times in my disgusting human way. And like everyone, I called that accomplishment. Erotic freedom, absurd as it seems. The wheat gathered and stored, the last fruit dried. Time that is hoarded, that is never used. Does it also end? In my first dream, the world appeared, the sweet, the forbidden, but there was no garden, only raw elements. I was human. I had to beg to descend. The salt, the bitter, the demanding, the preemptive, and like everyone, I took. I was taken. I dreamed. I was betrayed. Earth was given to me in a dream. In a dream, I possessed it. So yeah, when I read that poem, I was like, yeah, we got to do an episode. So here's a book that I bought because it had a lot of my professors were published in it. You Are Here, Poetry in the Natural World, edited by Ada Limon, who I think is still currently the poet laureate, or I'm not entirely sure. I know like Once Upon a Time recently. Anyway, so this poem is by Carrie Fountain, and when the poem came out, when it was published, when I was aware of it, I think it was published in the New Yorker. I like printed it out and gave it to everyone, and there was a book by Carrie Fountain that I loved. It's been a really long time since I read it, but it was called Burn Lake. So that book I liked once. You belong to the world, as do your children, as does your husband. It's strange, even now, to understand that you are a mother and a wife, that these gifts were given to you, and that you received them. Fond as you've always been of declining invitations, you belong to the world. The hands that put a peach tree into the earth exactly where the last one died in the freeze belong to the world and will someday feed it again. Differently, your body will become food again for something, just as it did so humorously when you became a mother. Hungry beings clamoring at your breast, born as they'd been with the bodily passion for survival. That is our kind's one common feature. You belong to the world, animal. Deal with it. Even as the great abstractions come to take you away, the regrets, the distractions, you can at any second come back to the world to which you belong. The world you never left, won't ever leave, cells forever, forever going through their changes, as they have been since you were less than anything. Simple information born inside your own mother's newborn body, itself made from the stuff your grandmother carried within hers. When at 12 she packed her belongings and left the Scottish island she'd known, all she'd ever known, on a ship bound for Ellis Island, carrying within her your mother, you, the greatest human future that dwells now inside the bodies of your children, the young, which, like you, belong to the world. So this last poem I wrote recently. I was wearing this shirt to work, and I realized that you could see through it because it was so old. And I texted my husband like, "Oh my God, I've been wearing this shirt all day, and I just realized you can see through it." And he was like, "Oh, it's threadbare." And I was like, "Oh, that's cool. I've never heard that word before, threadbare." And then like every book I read in the next like month or so had the word threadbare. He was reading a book. I'm pointing because he's behind me. He was reading a book that was not called Threadbare, that had threadbare in it, and so it's just been a motif. So here is the poem Threadbare. A copy of a copy of a copy, fading more and more each time. I wasn't aware they could see through my missing parts. In walks a journalist and a lawyer and an actor and a sugar baby with a bag of trash. She wants to see your eyes in films. He's getting lost, smiling and looking away. Time is a falling star. Look at me. Look at me. I am here, gathering dust. I am here, gathering dust. So I feel like that poem also is about loneliness. And because I feel like I've been feeling really lonely lately. I don't know. I feel like a lot of people have, because we're all just like so busy, like just like trying, to like make it. And like, we don't really look at each other because we're just too busy. Or we're all just like so trapped inside. And yeah, so that's that poem. Thank you for joining me here in this channel of poetry, Afterglow Poet. Thank you for coming to Afterglow Poetics. I'm your host, Sarah. And I hope to see you soon. Thank you for showing up. And I'll see you next time. I'm inspired.